Here we are at our example 2 from our 4.3 set of notes. We're asked to factor each polynomial by finding the greatest common factor. Now, when we look at this 2x plus 8, we notice that they both share a common factor of 2, so we can pull a 2 out. Unfortunately, we can't pull an x out just because this 8 right here doesn't have one. But we still can pull out the 2. Now, when you pull the 2 out of this first term, this 2x, we have to ask ourselves, what times that 2 gives us that 2x that we had originally? Well, an x would do that. Likewise, what times this factor 2 would give us this 8 that we had originally? 4 would accomplish that. So that is our factored form then. There we pulled out our GCF, and this was the leftover as a result of it. Okay? When you pulled that 2 out. For our 24x plus 48, thinking about those two numbers, what's the biggest number that you can pull out of both of them? Well, some people might think about 4, some people might think about 6. The actual biggest GCF here is the number 24 itself. And so they both are evenly divisible by 24. This guy does not have an x, so we can't pull it out. But 24 is our greatest common factor. Now, when we pull that 24 out of each term, we would be left then with x. And then what times this 24 gives us that positive 48? Well, a negative 2 would accomplish that. Okay? And so this, we could even just make a plus plus. Usually it just is. I mean, usually then you would just have 24 times x plus 2 inside. So that would be your factored form. When we look at number 7, the biggest, greatest common factor that we can pull out of both terms is a 3x. They both share a 3. They're both evenly divisible by 3. They're also both evenly divisible by x because they both have one. And when you pull a 3x out of this first term right here, we would have 3x. And then when we pull a 3x out of this term right here, this negative 3x, we would be left then with that negative 1. You do need that negative 1 there as a placeholder. That's a common part where students miss. Not a ton of people, but it does happen. So just be careful of those 1s. They do act as a placeholder. Now this 10x squared and negative 15x, thinking about the greatest common factor that they both share, they're both evenly divisible by 5, so we can pull a 5 out. They both also have an x, so we can pull an x out. That is our GCF. Now asking ourselves, what times this 5x gets us that original 10x squared? Well, 2x would accomplish that, so that's what's going to go inside of our parentheses. Likewise, what times our 5x gets us that original negative 15x? Well, negative 3 does that. So we already have the negative there. And again, you can always verify by distributing and checking. Like there we get our 15x squared. I'm sorry, our 10x squared rather. Minus 15x. Okay, so you can always check it. Just be like, hey, yes, I did this factoring correct. All right, but again, though, that is example 2 from our 4.3 set of notes.